this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. It is. There has to be a Monday after. Yeah, so there is a Monday after. Oh, a horrible game on Friday. That's going to talk about some of the things that concern me personally about what happened. You're probably looking and saying, gosh, this picture looks different. Well, let me explain to you why it looks different, and then you can kind of deal with it on your own. I've moved the room that I'm in, and I have my professional lighting back. So if it looks like I'm suddenly a younger cow, the reason is because I bought one of those hot tub time machines, and those things are really awesome. Yeah. Joining me is Jake, and joining me is Rick, and that's it so far. And hey, if you want to be part of the program, it's in the YouTube chat. You know, I try to do this to make this easier for people in case they've lost the link. So, you know, the game on Friday was a weird one for me. And the aftermath of, Baker wasn't Baker. Baker wasn't himself. And then, but you know, OBJ and Njoku and Landry and all and Chubb weren't playing. And so you had that faction of people. I have a take that nobody else has. And that take is, it's my show. Fuck you. I'll say what I want to. No, my take. The power play. It's just
that was last week's script. That was
okay. We'll move on to something new. All right. Here's the deal. I'm watching this game more than once, and I'm saying, you know, I understand that there are things that Freddie wanted to work on, but I'm not real high on every set being an empty backfield. Because what we saw on Friday was Baker being forced to throw to second string wide receivers and having no dump down checkoff. It took me a while to figure out what's wrong with this picture. All the things we've been working on, passing more to Chubb, passing to Kareem Hunt or whatever, having somebody go out into the pattern that is, we played into the hands of a team that was playing a cover one. And plain and simple, we just sent 5 wide receivers out into the pattern, or however many, wide receivers we sent out into the pattern, and it was an empty backfield. After the game, Freddie was talking about what they were doing and said that there were some blocking schemes on the offensive line that they wanted to work on. And that I see Rox has finally shown up. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that special? All right, well, we'll let her in. What the hell? Gonna let her in. Oh, John Travolta fans. Oh, I'm gonna let her in. Ooh, God, what a horrible song that was. So the thing with Freddie that kind of, hi, Rox, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good.
I tried to be clever and call in. I thought it would give you the opportunity to answer the call, but all it did when I called in was play the audio of the show.
Really?
Yeah. But it was easy to call in. All I had to do was put in the meeting ID, and I didn't have a participant number, so I just hit pound again, and then I was connected.
Yeah. So you were pounding. Yeah. Okay.
That's why I'm late. I was pounding away.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't need to know that personally. So with the Brown situation, I was kind of taken aback by the fact that Freddie said, well, the offensive line failed miserably. That was the way he put it. And it's like, well, you put him in a position to fail. You were testing. And you were testing for a full half of football with your first string quarterback out there who could have been mangled because he had no check down. This does not inspire confidence in me. And I disagree with the premise if you want to work on things, work on things. That's all well and good, but God damn it. What happens if, Greg Robinson did not have a very good day and he gave up a sack. What if the sack hurt Baker Mayfield? Is it worth playing an empty backfield on every goddamn down, forcing your lineman? And what Freddie said after, or today in the press conference after practice was that he was forcing the O-line into one-on-one situations. Well, you start doing that and you don't have anybody who's going to pick up anything additional, and you got a problem. Because, I was wondering, why is Baker throwing the ball into such narrow windows? And the answer is, well, the receivers couldn't beat anybody one-on-one because it was fucking Derek Willis and it was Jalen Strong, and he had no one else to throw to. And he wasn't going to pull the ball down and run with it, so he was throwing to whomever he could throw the ball to. And they weren't open. And it made Tampa Bay look like I don't know, it made them look like a Super Bowl defense, man, that they were cover one-ing us to death. Now, go ahead and run a cover one against the Cleveland Browns if we're running our regular offense. And Freddie acknowledged that's not our regular offense. And, you're not, but we failed at what we were trying to do. I just think that it would have been a very expensive price to pay, to find out that, that somebody would get hurt because of that. What do you think, Rick? You watched the game. What?
Like I said, Baker's looks like he was just trying to throw into spots, and none of the receivers that I could see were able to get any kind of separation at all from the DBs. It was like they were just, walking side by side down the field. I mean, there was no separation at all. If Baker doesn't hit the spot, it's incomplete. And the fact that there's no running backs, I would have thought they'd have brought in the second string running backs just to get them some reps and, work on, who we're going to stick around, who's going to stick around for the final 53. Let's figure out the depth. Who comes up after Chubb? But didn't seem like that's what they were shooting for.
Jake, 26 passes in the first half of the football game, 26 passes. And in most of those sets, there wasn't even a running back in the backfield. Do you think that this was a responsible thing to do?
If you're going to do that, I understand you won't play Odell, but at least play Njoku and Landry, because you're not going to get reps with the first team, but you're going to put your quarterback out there. That's kind of a concern to me. Do you agree there?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I was concerned about, if you know that the quarterback has not been getting reps, with these receivers, and you are forcing one-on-one blocking schemes by the offensive line with nobody to pick up somebody who happens to get by Greg Robinson, then what you're doing is you're endangering your quarterback. And it was obvious that his chemistry wasn't there with these receivers because he did look very uncharacteristic for Baker, who's usually a very accurate quarterback. I wanted to ask you something, Rock, seeing as how your video is very dark, but do you see how lumescent I am?
I do.
Now, am I too lumescent?
Right, and you are indeed white.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, but don't you see how the professional lighting and the reflective lighting has taken like 10 years off of my appearance? You don't see any wrinkles.
No, that's nice.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
You make me feel so young. I told you, Jake. You make me feel like spring has sprung. All right.
All right, Jake, you'll have to clue me in on the inside joke later.
He'll do no such thing. Here comes Bronk. Bronk's coming into the picture here, so we'll let him in, and here we go. And he's unmuted. So, hey, now 5 of us in the house. So I guess what really bothered me about the whole thing is that you were putting Baker in a situation where he was throwing to unfamiliar receivers that he didn't really have timing with, forced on man-to-man coverage in the secondary that these second-string receivers could not break. And Baker had to throw the ball because he would have taken at least 3 more sacks when they rushed into his face had he pulled the ball down with a greater chance of getting hurt. So he had to throw these passes. So why point the ray of guilt at Baker Mayfield when it clearly shines on Freddie Kitchens? Because he thought that, man, our people, our offensive line will pick it up. And they didn't pick it up. By the admission of J.C. Tretter, they were awful. This isn't me saying that. It's the players themselves who are saying this. So, I'm kind of a little bit miffed. How you doing, Bronk?
Not too bad. It's very, very hot here, so there's no camera today. But
hot? Heat affects your camera?
Well, it's 29 centigrade, so if you want to work that out, that's close to 90 degrees in the room where I'm doing.
It's 90 in the room? What happened to your air conditioning?
We don't have air conditioning. This is England.
Jolly good. We'll just simply perspire the excess weight off.
Yes.
I think that I'll do my upper-class twit impression. You see, I bet Buckingham Palace has air conditioning, doesn't it?
Well, it probably will after its $38 million refit that they're working on right now.
Absolutely. The morally, ethically moribund queen certainly can't perspire at her chambers, now can she, Bronk?
Absolutely not.
Of course not. It is for the plebeians, such as yourself. It is true serfdom. This is the way Britain is run.
This is the road to serfdom here, mate. Yeah, I wonder if anybody got that reference. Anyway, I think I said this in the post game. What a horrible called offense that was at this game. Now I think Freddie is coming out trying to backtrack, saying that they were working on things and stuff. Well, I bloody well hope so. They were working on things, that they're not going to try to call this during the year, because it looked like a Colt McCoy offense from 5 years ago when we were behind by 17 and decide, we got to throw the ball on every fucking play. It was just absolutely awful.
It made Baker look bad, and Baker had to release the ball or else get hit.
It looked like fucking Colt McCoy or Seneca Wallace or whoever it was we've had for the past 20 fucking years.
So it really doesn't completely please me seeing that Jalen Strong and Derek Willis could not get around the Tampa Bay cover one. Tampa Bay averaged giving up a ton of points last year.
They did.
And honestly, I don't think, their offense was huge, but they still didn't win that much because no matter how many points they put up on the board, they gave up just a little bit more. And that's not a good sign when their secondary is glued to you like white on rice. I'm sorry for the expression. It's an expression, Rocks. It is not a racist thing. White on rice, okay? I want to remind you that Uncle Ben is a black man on the package, okay?
I think that's just a cartoon. But anyway,
actually it was converted rice because at one time it was Jewish. And then they convert the goddamn rice to Christianity and it loses all of its taste. Go ahead, Ron.
Correct. Did you, not to really change the subject too much, but did you watch the Tennessee-Pittsburgh game last night?
No, because the goddamn channel here that's owned by Nexstar, NBC, I can't get any national NBC broadcast. And I didn't want to go through all the hoopla of doing a fucking stream for the goddamn Steelers. No.
That's a top tip. Yeah, don't go through the hoopla for that shit.
What happened?
Just to paraphrase briefly what happened is that Pittsburgh ran them a new asshole during the first half, and then the game sort of petered out. But the Steelers have some interesting backups. They got Mason Rudolph, which is your prototypical white backup quarterback in the pocket.
Sorry for the reference, Rocks. The backup white quarterback. I'm sorry, but this again. Is
And
he?
then,
He's
and
a
then-
good one.
and then they've got the prototypical black athletic quarterback, who's the third string guy who runs around a lot and throws on the run and looks.
I'm sorry, Rox, about the athletic black reference.
I'm just going for it today. So there you go. I mean, so if Big Ben finally gets hurt, which we keep thinking is going to happen one year, but never seems to happen, the Steelers have an interesting choice because they got two totally different guys to be the backup quarterback. And
Yeah, but they got that damn offensive line. I mean, the thing about the Steelers is whoever it would be is going to look better than they are because that offensive line protects the quarterback. And that's why Ben's been playing for so damn long.
oh yeah, their
Is
line is definitely better than us, but I would say our skill players are better than theirs. So,
Yeah, but if the quarterback never gets rid of the ball, it doesn't really matter how your skill players are.
exactly.
Oh, by the way, Rox, are you athletic? Okay. So that answers that in a big hurry, Bronk. So
She can sing and dance though, so there you go. She got that going for her.
she has that Bojangles Robinson gene. This is really becoming hateful. Goodness. The woman takes her time to be on this program, and look at her.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Chipmunk cheeks. Oh, poor baby. Oh, she's being silent, man. She's giving us all the silent treatment. All right. Yeah, but I mean, that's what worried me. That's what worried me most about the Browns game is that, the pundits were going to say bad things about Baker Mayfield. And I think that's really not fair. He just was doing what the coach told him to do. And it was
100%.
implosive. It was implosive.
It was either like throw the ball into an impossible window to an incompetent receiver or eat the fucking football with Ndamukong Suh trying to ass rape you in the process. I mean, what would you do? I mean, you'd throw the ball.
Well, I would not be in a position for Ndamukong Suh to ass rape me. But besides that, yeah, I would get rid of the ball. Now, the other thing that it was after the fact, and they were talking about the 53-man roster and how some of this might, affect the 53-man roster. And, here's something interesting at the wide receiver position. They're saying that the top five, OBJ and Landry, Higgins, Strong, and Willis, and get this, they're saying that Willis and Ratley are the speed of that, besides OBJ, of course. But, of course, Higgins is not fast, but he runs good pattern. Jalen Strong and Willis and Ratley, how fast could Strong and Willis be if they could not separate the defense they were playing with? And they had like 43 snaps or some ridiculous number of snaps that they were playing. They couldn't get free. It's like they were in a fucking straitjacket.
Who throws 26 passes in the first half of a preseason game except us?
I don't know.
Talking straight line speed that doesn't help you get open in the NFL.
No,
Yeah.
not that know how to cover you because they have an advantage.
Yeah,
And steps in back of you.
doesn't really help. Maybe they ran a decent 40, but they don't look fast on the field.
No, and they look positively slow. It reminded me of the '99 Browns. There was nobody who was able to break free. Here's something interesting.
I'm not going to say they're slow. They weren't burners. That's for sure.
Right. Well, and look, I mean, by today's standards, you need. There are guys running 4.2, 4.3 40s, and a 4.5, 4.6 doesn't get it done. And that's what it looked like to me. They asked Freddie Kitchens about Austin Siebert's performance, and it's really interesting. They said, "Is there a significance of having Britton Colquitt as Siebert's holder?" And it's like. And he says, I guess it was significant because he made them. We don't give excuses for missed kicks. You either put them through the uprights or you don't. There are no excuses. So whoever the holder is, the ball needs to go through the uprights. Well, who was holding for Siebert? Well, we didn't really know because this is the first time he got to really fucking kick the ball in a game. I think he missed one fucking field goal from like 50 plus yards. And that was the only time we saw him. And it turns out the goddamn Jamie Gillam was holding it. And he's not even a holder.
He's a rugby player, for God's sakes, Mark. Mark.
I mean, what in the hell? I mean, does it have something to do with it? I mean, so basically what you're telling me is Greg the Master Drunken Joseph they were allowing him to have the first string holder and the number 5 draft pick, that they're going to fuck up his confidence by letting a guy, a Scottish guy who doesn't even play American football hold for him? Wait, here it comes. Yeah. I don't know. That's not a decision I would make either. But thank God Siebert made the kicks and he looked like a real NFL kicker. And hopefully that puts Greg Joseph to bed in his Florida Atlantic University past behind us. I don't want him. He's going to get to kick every kick in game 4. Good. I'm not doing a halftime and post-game show for fucking game 4. I want to tell you that right off the bat. This is not Little League. This is not Pop Warner. I'm not doing it.
Wow.
God.
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, could Joseph be the beer vendor?
I'll tell you something else. No, I'll tell you something else that was ridiculous. I mean, the post-game show got very little viewing this game. For the first time in the history of my doing halftime and post-game shows, the halftime show had more views than the post-game because they said, oh God, this is as good as it's going to get, our starters, and we look this bad. I'm not sticking around. Wait, what was the punchline? I'm not going to sit here for 67 more of the, forget it. All right, do you want the joke?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, the guy goes into a hooker, right?
Yeah.
He pays the hooker.
Yeah.
And the hooker says, all right, maybe you want to try the 69? And he goes, yeah, we'll try that. And she gets on top and he's underneath and then going at it. And she he's underneath. She ends up ripping a fart, just rips one. I mean, and she's just professionally so embarrassed, she runs in and closes the bathroom door and locks herself in the bathroom. She composes herself and comes out and they resume, and damned if it doesn't happen a second time. She rips another one right in the guy's face, right in the middle of 69. And he's like, she runs out of there and she's so humiliated. She locks herself in the bathroom. So she comes out and she composed herself and the guy's putting his clothes on. And she goes, where are you going? He goes, you don't expect me to stick around for 67 more of those, do you? Thank you. All right. So,
all week, folks.
I'll be here all week. So here's the deal. Nobody wanted to stick around for a second half when the first half was bad with your first string and you were going to have to watch the third string and fourth string. No. So nobody wanted to watch the post-game show. More views on the halftime show. So, Now, looking back at the game, I got to tell you that, I got a hard on with Olivier Vernon. My God, that guy, he looked positively explosive now, didn't he?
He did indeed. He looked absolutely explosive.
Very good. Damn it, that's without Myles Garrett on the field. It's like, good. Maybe we're going to have somebody else. And, Schobert, for as much as we rip him, he
was gone. Yeah, he looks better than Mack Wilson. Mark.
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, he it looked like he understood what he was doing out there. Yeah. I will quote J.C. Treader so that you know more about the offense. J.C. Treader, we all know it as a group to a man that we weren't good. Treader and Bitonio had been the only starting offensive linemen not to surrender a quarterback pressure, but that changed in Tampa. Here, listen to PFF, Pro Football Focus's stats. Greg Robinson God bless you, please. 3 pressures, 2 hurries, 1 sack, and 2 penalties. Boy, that's like a hungry man dinner from Swanson's, you know? My God, that's a man-sized game. You know, that's not the way to prove yourself, Mr. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Batonio had 1 pressure. Treader had 1 pressure. Eric Cush had 2 pressures. And Chris Hubbard had 2 pressures, 1 hurry, 1 hit, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Under pressure.
Dung, 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 dung. Yeah. Yeah. Treader said offensive linemen feel like corrections have been made after watching the film.
Yeah, throw out that playbook they were using.
Yeah, don't run that play anymore.
Okay, now.
1-on-1, don't want to play that game tonight.
I mean,
I think
that could work when you have OBJ and Joku and Landry out there. Maybe, but
I don't really want to try it even with them.
No. Here's what
you're down 17 to use that. No other time.
Treader is the spokesperson because he's sure that he's got a job. I think a lot of it is just outside your fundamentals. You get outside your technique and things go poorly, Treader said. And that's kind of the tough thing about offensive line play. One guy makes a mistake. Greg Robinson, excuse me. Something caught in my throat. It kind of makes everything look bad. So I think all of us kind of had 1 or 2 plays that we wish we had back. But you see, there was nobody else back there to pick up their mistake. And they were running an offense that they don't usually run with players who shouldn't be on the field. So, I don't know.
I have an attendee that needs to be promoted to a panelist.
Oh, I think that I can do that. That's kind of what I'm here for, I think, last time I checked. And that attendee would be a phone call-in listener?
Wow.
Let me see about this. Come on, boys, see about me. Let's see what this is.
Take on me.
Well, wait a minute. It's not letting me click them, though.
Be there.
That's too bad.
Are you there, caller?
No, because it's not. I see that they're trying total 1 phone call-in listener. And I don't know. I thought that they were supposed to appear in the studio, that I could just promote them in.
Maybe they just talk and you don't see them.
Are you there? Where are you? Oh, I guess not.
Calling inhabitants of interplanetary craft.
Oh, wait, switch to phone audio.
Bottom of my screen says we've got 6 participants.
Hey, phone 1, are you on? Phone caller, are you in? No, phone caller is just, yeah.
It says 6 where I am, too.
Yeah, that's weird.
But it says there's an attendee. So that whoever that phone caller is has not been promoted.
Yeah, I don't know. It keeps saying switch to phone audio, phone call, done, but it's not working. So that's something I'm going to have to report to the people at Zoom, unless there's something else that, you know, I don't understand. Do you know who it is, Rox, who's trying to do this?
I
Rox?
have a suspicion.
Telemarketer?
Probably.
It's the Republican.
They want to talk to you about the insurance on your car.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson's calling in.
Yeah. I've seen the tape.
Well, so much for that. I'm sorry, but I don't know how that works. So, or obviously it doesn't work. At any rate, back to the real thing that matters, and that's, and I know Rox knows something because she has a very devious look on her face. You know, you can't hide shit.
What? What is it? What?
What?
Remind me of my dogs, man. When it's like got a chicken leg in his mouth, and goes, "What? I didn't do anything." You know, it's like,
I don't think I like that reference.
there was no
Female dog?
ethnicity,
No.
no ethnicity in a drumstick. You
No,
can't
but you're
go
calling
there.
me you're comparing me to a female dog. That's not good.
No, if I were doing that, I would say something entirely different that would be even more offensive. Yeah, I'm sorry to the phone caller who was trying to call in, but you're supposed to just be able to waltz right in here.
They're gone now, whoever they were.
Yeah, we're back to 5 now.
But the thing is that I don't know how they would have gotten the number to call in because I didn't give out the number.
You can find, well, if you're an attendee, you can find it in the audio, like the mute settings.
Oh, well, you're probably right about that. I don't even understand how the fuck this thing works. So what the hell? But at any rate, we'll go back to what I was saying. You know, Treader says, if they want us to play in week 4, we'll play. Don't say that. Freddie might take you up on it.
Yeah.
Not good. But in predicting the Browns' 53-man roster, they're saying Njoku, Demetrius Harris, and Seth DeValve will make the team. And the extra offensive linemen will be Austin Corbett, Kendall Lamb, Drew Forbes, and Kyle Callis. Those guys they think are going to make the team. And that Willies and Damian Ratley and Jalen Strong, but one of those guys will be long gone when Antonio Callaway comes back. And they're saying that Dearness Johnson is going to make this team, but they're still putting him behind Dontrell Hilliard. But they're saying that the Browns are likely, with a 53-man roster, to hold on to 3 running backs. But there's a lot that can change in this, because what if they decide that they want a fullback? Or what if they, there could be changes. Or you can make the 53-man roster, but if somebody comes available that you can trade, or you can promote because they're waived and cut, and you want them more, you can make the 53-man roster and still not have a damn job, is what it amounts to. So
yeah, I reckon we get a running back or a tight end or a fullback. I'm almost certain of that.
Now, 9 defensive linemen. Of course, Myles Garrett, Sheldon Richardson, Larry Ogunjobi, Olivier Vernon, Chris Smith, Chad Thomas, Jannard Avery, Devereaux Lawrence, and Trevon Coley. Trevon Coley is going to be the weak link there. Devereaux Lawrence has made this team. So Trevon Coley is the question mark, whether it's 8 or 9 on the defensive line deep. The linebacker, the 6th guy is Ray Armstrong because of special teams consideration. The others, Schobert Kirksey, Darius Taylor, Takataki, and Mac Wilson. The cornerback situation is really interesting. Philip Gaines is on the bubble. Denzel Ward, Terrence Mitchell, TJ Carey, Greedy Williams, Lindsey Pipkins, all are going to make this team. Philip Gaines is definitely the question mark in all of this. Again, if the Browns decide to weight their roster in a different direction, it will be so long to Philip Gaines. They're also saying that the guy who's going to get screwed at the safety position is not going to be Sheldrick Redwine, and he's played his way into a demotion. Justin Burris, who's actually done pretty good this preseason, is going to get the axes, according to people who know. And that all because Redwine was a 4th-round pick and nobody wants to admit they might have been wrong, or to let go a guy who just needs some development. So that's what that shapes up as. So, and then I'm looking at Mary Kay Cabbagehead's article, and it's like, oh, for goodness sakes.
Wow, she still writes?
Hey, Mary Kay, you female dog.
Wow.
Will Baker Mayfield have time to get the first team offense on the same page before the opener? From Ben from Macon, Georgia. Hey, Ben, you're a dumb fuck Southerner, aren't you? No, Baker doesn't have time. We're all fucked. The world's coming to an end. Next question. Rocky Croft of Akron, Ohio asks, hey, Cabbagehead, what are the chances the Browns bring in a right guard before the season starts, and what kind of quality starter can they get now? Her answer, hey, Rocky. It was too easy. It was too easy.
Unless you pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Again?
Presto.
Ooh, don't know
Never
my
works.
That question.
I get a bigger hat.
I'm not even going to answer that question. Hey, you drooling vegetable Cabot. What do you think about Mac Wilson and Sion Takitaki as our starting linebackers?
Yeah.
Anthony from Boardman, Ohio. Hey, Anthony, I see they're still not making them smart out in the Youngstown area, are they?
Hey, don't be so rude. That's where I'm from.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. I don't care.
That struck a little close to home, didn't it?
He
I
would
don't
have
care.
ruder had he known
You're not
that.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Insulting your target panelists here.
Hey, Anthony.
Make it better. So, not Boardman.
Why don't you go and try to open up a steel factory, you dumb fuck? Okay. Here's the next question. Sean from Chicago. Hey, Mary Kay. You got some cosmetics for me? Will the defensive line be as dominant as it looked against the Bucs? Hey, Sean, I believe so, and I know something about domination. That Bronk wanted to hear that. He's really hot for Mary Kay. Yeah, fucking bondage queen. I don't know. I'm really into dominance. Absolutely. Hey, Mary Kay, is there any word for the league as to the Browns' request that Kareem Hunt and Antonio Callaway be allowed to remain in the facility, attend meetings during their upcoming suspensions? From Charles Cole in Sheridan, Wyoming. Hey, Charles.
Uh-oh.
Oh my. You are frozen, Mr. Moohead.
What is still
Now
frame?
it's time for us to run amok. Yes, it's our chance. It's our chance.
Still frame.
Look in the middle of. I am not frozen. Am I frozen now?
Not anymore.
Oh, you were there for about a few seconds, about 5 to 10 seconds.
Really?
We
Rox
missed
was
Rox-
pretty close to taking over.
Rox tried taking over.
I noticed that because I could hear. You people think, oh, he's frozen. I mean,
It was
Look.
a panel coup.
Mary Kay Cabbage Head is frigid. But when I'm frozen, I can still hear. Okay? And I know where the mutiny was coming from. You thankless harridan.
Whoa.
What? What did I
Oh.
do?
There's that face again. I don't know who the caller was trying to get through, Mr. Moohead. Uh-huh.
A good question though is if Callaway gets that spot back week 5, you're one of these maybe 4 or 5 receivers. Does your agent say I do not want to let my client leave because I do not want him cut in week 4, week 5, but let him go right now?
Well,
Is that-
I mean, they got to carry a certain number of wide receivers to start the season, and my feeling is that if Antonio Callaway comes back in, by the 5th week of the season, that I can pretty well tell you at this point that that Ratley, if given a chance, will probably beat out one of the other two. I would think Willie's would go away.
Yeah, just if you're that close or you're a 4th or 5th on a solid team and you know you have someone coming in to take your spot, I could see someone's agent just saying, get him out of here now. If you're not going to commit to him.
Here's a question. This is a serious question. Hey, Mary Kay, I like what I see from the young punter. Any chance we keep J.D. Gillen? P.S. Does he have a really big horse cock? From Paul in Lake Milton, Ohio. Now, let's get her answer to this question. Gillen does have a good chance to make the team, especially after a nice game in Tampa where he netted 44 yards and placed 3 kicks inside the 20 and had a long kick of 54 yards. He also had a great hang time, which Kitchen was hoping to see. Incumbent Britton Colquitt will handle the punting chores Thursday against the Lions and have a chance to keep his job. But Gillen has made a strong case for himself in recent weeks. Well, there goes your field goal kicker. Oh, my God. If Gillen makes that team, I would be shocked.
Oh, 100%.
I don't remember Britton Colquitt giving up any long punt returns because of a total lack of hang time. And I get it that Gillen might have a stronger leg at this point in his career. But there are more considerations than just that. I would be really surprised. I don't know where she's getting her information from, but I don't agree with it.
Sounds like the box score, because she just literally could run her show by looking at the final box score of a game and making opinions on it.
I want to read a quote to you, and this has nothing to do with the Cleveland Browns, but I'm obligated to read this,
Really?
Trevor Bauer.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Trevor Bauer, that I was never on his bus. You know what I mean?
No, you were not.
That is not a Rosa Parks reference. Please do not take exception, Rocks. Okay? Gosh, you're so sensitive. Trevor Bauer, it was very easy coming into Cincinnati. Everyone did a really great job of being accommodating and making it easy for me to make this transition, Bauer said, as he wore women's clothing. The information is great here. Different kind of transition. The information is great here. The coaching staff is great here. Overall, I'm a whole lot happier here than I was. Sometimes you don't realize how unhappy you are in a situation until you are out of it, because it's just kind of day-to-day life. I miss some of my teammates and stuff, but overall, I don't really miss a whole lot about Cleveland.
Well, there you go. Bye.
He's got discounts at Skyline Chili.
Eat a dick. That's what I say to Trevor Bauer. You know something? Yeah, you're going to be so happy that with your one-year contracts, you stupid fuck. You're your own worst enemy. And he's 1-2 with a 5.48 earned run average since he got to the welcoming Cincinnati Reds. He's fitting right into Cincinnati, isn't he? God almighty. It's like 4 hours after this clip, which is a video and audio clip, Bauer tried to clarify his remarks by saying what he doesn't miss about Cleveland was directly related to his situation with the Indians prior to the deal and not the city itself. Oh, try to cover now. God, Mr. Drone.
Wow.
Maybe the next drone will cut his penis off. Fuck him.
I'll tell you what, during a slow bit of yesterday's game, Tom Hamilton read that out, and he ripped Bauer a new asshole, but that's what Hamilton does to people like that he doesn't really like. So that was. I
don't think anybody likes him, and he was also really unhappy, if you remember, where he came from. Remember?
Fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, he's never happy anywhere he is. That's the bottom line. He's just not a happy fellow. And of course, if you're living in a cave, the Indians are dead because Jose Ramirez died over the weekend. He passed away at such a young age. The Hammett bone is to the hand what the Liz Frank is, to the foot.
But we got your Wang playing for us now.
Everybody, you Chang tonight.
What?
Wang?
Chang.
Chang. Oh, Chang. I thought it was
Wang.
Wang.
Everybody, you Chang tonight.
Yeah, you. The thing is, could the Indians still reach October after another critical injury? No, they weren't even going to reach it with him. Please make this stop. Please just make it stop. The Hammett bone is 4 to 6 weeks, and there's no time for him to recover from it. And unless they were to make a long run into the playoffs, and the Indians aren't even going to be the wild card team. Look, I mean, yesterday's game pretty well summed it up. I think a game like that, where, Reyes hits the big home run to tie the game, and you immediately, Whitgren comes up and gives up a home run to somebody who had 2 in the game, who has 9 all year and 2 of them in one game against us. And, it's like, oh my God, talking about a buzzkill, when that ball left the park, it was like, God, the Indians are done. And, giving up 9 runs to the Royals. Yeah, the Indians didn't look very good. The bullpen really failed miserably. The whole thing just, the wheels came off. The team just, they had an opportunity to make up ground on Tampa. Tampa lost, and then the Indians turn around and lose to the Royals. And, No, I don't think the Indians have a chance. Panel, the Indians have a chance at the postseason now.
Well, I have been the biggest doubter all throughout the year, as you know, but they still have a lot of games against fucking Detroit, the White Sox, and the Royals, and the Tampa Bay and the Oakland Athletics have to play real baseball teams, so they could fluke into the wild card spot, but I can't see them winning any away games in the playoffs. Not a one.
No, they won't get past the Yankees or Houston.
Oh,
The
God,
last 10 games are 4-6. Minnesota was 7-3.
correct.
So,
So
and Minnesota's still hitting, 3-4 home runs a game. So,
yeah, we're not going to win the division by any
no.
means. That's impossible. No.
I don't see it. Indians played great against okay teams, and every baseball team runs out of energy. I think their run's over.
Yeah, my feeling about the Indians is I think Reyes is the kind of hitter who could hit home runs in bunches and then have droughts, I think that he's a big swing and miss guy. Yu Chang, by the way, is a huge swing and miss guy. And this is a guy who only had 9 home runs in the minor leagues, and they're trying to pimp his power. You hit 9 home runs at AAA baseball, and you strike out like 35 to 40% of the times you step up to home plate. You got no business. And he's a so-so fielder. That's even the worst part of it. Hi to John Peterson in the chat room. I don't know John, but something. It's nice to meet you, John. Hi to Mr. Fergus. Hi to Cindy Sanders.
Hello to Rox's cat.
Taki hamstring injury. What's the story with this? Is this true?
No, look at the kitty. I think Taki's been hurt for the past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, but no, he's fine. He's fine, and I think everybody who's hanging around camp is saying Mac Wilson has gotten all the press, but look out for Taki when the season starts. He's a big hitter. Mac Wilson, he there's a story on him that, I thought this was incredible. Nick Saban said he should have stayed at Alabama. Okay. Which is ridiculous because that's where George Wallace was from, and asking a black man to stay in Alabama seems ludicrous under the circumstances. But Nick Saban says he should have stayed because, and I'm going to give you the reasoning, and you're just going to all shake your big cow heads out here, and it's, this is just my philosophy, Saban said. People can disagree, but I just think it's better for our players if they're not going to be first or second round picks to stay in school, graduate, and try to become a first or second round pick. Then get this, money kind of goes down pretty quick, and I don't think you have much of an opportunity to make it up. I know the argument is you get to see your second contract faster, but if you can make 10 to 15 million more by staying in school and graduating, that's a lot of value for your future. It's like 10 to 15 million, fucking Nick Saban. I mean, he shits 10 to 15 million. The University of Alabama shits 10 to 15 million dollars.
He fucking owns Tuscaloosa.
He's a plantation owner.
If he's worried about Wilson and money, why don't you cut a check yourself?
Yeah.
I think you could spare a couple of bucks, Nicky.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, without even mentioning the fact that if he goes down with a fucking injury, you get no money and you get no consolation from Nick Saban. It's, to me, this is what's wrong with college football. It's what's wrong with football, period. It's like, it's easy to sit there and say, if come maybe millions of dollars, but most of the kids who are in school playing football, they're not first or second round picks. And there's no guarantee that you don't rip your knee out and then you never even become an NFL player. Mac Wilson's doing what he thinks is best, not just for himself, but he's a married man, family guy. This is not, this is something that is, the money that he's getting paid is more money than he ever saw at the fucking University of Alabama. So go eat a dick. tell Saban to go eat a dick.
Well, Saban's the same guy that blocked a transfer for a kid that was recruited by Kirby Smart to Georgia, saying that you have to stay loyal to the program, but he went there because of Kirby Smart, not because of Saban. So he wouldn't let a guy go to the coach that he was recruited by, just because he didn't want to let him go, a good talent go. So what does that say about the situation?
Now get this, Dane Brugler of The Athletic said that, Mack Wilson was considered the third best linebacker in the draft behind Devin White and Devin Bush. But I know that that's not true. If you want to stand up behind Nick Saban and kiss his ass, that's fine, Dane Brugler. But the fact of the matter is that if he was the third best backer, why did he get drafted in the 5th round?
Correct. I'll tell you what, Devin Bush looked pretty good in last night's game. So when you get a chance, do look at the Steelers and Titans. You'll find some interesting things there.
Yeah, I mean, Devin White has not flashed, by the way. Devin Bush has.
Yeah, and I thought it would be the other way around. But
yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way. But Pittsburgh knows linebackers. That's what they do. So Wilson ends up with $2.82 million, including $308,000 guaranteed. Well, he's going to make the team. For comparison's sake, the number 5 overall pick, Devin White, worth $29.3 million. You can't make that comparison because it wasn't like people were just dying to get their hands on Mack Wilson. He dropped to the 5th fucking round. And
he was there, and we took Taki instead. Me and Hammer were chatting about that at the time that happened.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there are a lot of people who weren't so high on him. And it's just like Greedy Williams and Derek Frisbee and his sexually promiscuous mother.
Hey, leave his mother out of it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah, I know she is. She's a matronly woman. To me, it was ridiculous. Greedy Williams was not. They were pimping him to some degree, but I knew he wasn't going to go in the 1st round. I told everybody he was going to go in the 2nd, and he basically went apeshit because Greedy Williams was his number 1 defensive back. Greedy Williams isn't even starting for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, if he was a 1st round pick and he wasn't starting and he was playing behind Terrence Mitchell, you would say something's not right here. Denzel Ward comes right in and plays, 1st round pick, But yeah, he wasn't a 1st round pick. And so you can talk about money all you want, but if he's considered the 3rd best linebacker and he waits, 4 more rounds before he gets drafted, he wasn't going to get money no matter what Nick Saban says. And if he comes back and has a good year at Alabama, then he could move up. But the fact of the matter is, maybe he doesn't have a good year at Alabama or he gets hurt.
Yeah, and I don't like this insinuation that he'd be coached up more by staying at Alabama than by going to a pro team. I think that needs to be challenged too. I think these college programs that think they're so great in preparing these young men, I think that's a little bullshit.
Well, get this, and this is where we talk out of both sides of our mouth, Nick Saban. It's worked pretty well for a lot of our players. It's a little concerning to a lot of people on both sides, including the NFL, that there's 144 coming out for the draft early or whatever the number was this year, and 49 didn't even get drafted. Probably that many more got drafted where they won't be on a team in 3 years, and the statistics over the last 5 years bear that out. 50% of the guys that are coming out early are having failed careers based on are you on a team in 3 years? And the problem is those guys aren't in the draft next year. Yeah, stick around for me. Help me win another championship at Alabama. Don't let Dabo Swinney get the best of me again. Yeah.
What a dick.
No, I mean, it's all self-serving bullshit. And I will pair it with this story because there are stories that really kind of that hurt. If you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, this has got to hurt you. LaRon McClain, you remember the fullback, former Pro Bowler?
Yeah.
Yep. He's complaining of head issues related to football and asked the league for help in a series of tweets over the weekend. I have to get my head checked. Playing fullback since high school, it takes too fucking much to do anything. My brain is fucking tired, he tweeted. At NFL, I need some help with this shit. Dark times and it's showing. Fucking help me, please. They don't care. I had to get lawyers, man. This is what was tweeted. He was a Pro Bowler in 08 and 09 while with the Ravens. He played running back in 2008. He rushed for a career high 902 yards, 10 touchdowns. But like most fullbacks, it's all about making somebody else in the backfield look good. And so you have to hit bigger men head on. He's only 34 years old.
Wow.
He also tweeted this: need to tell my story of how my head is crazy and how football did it. Please, someone help me get this out. The NFL puts paperwork in our faces and that's it. Yeah, it's programs. Fuck, all that I need is help right now. I need a fucking plan. They don't get it. If you didn't follow, and here's the worst part of this, and it really, I am beginning to just, and I know I love the Cleveland Browns and I want us to do well this year. But I've been distancing myself from the hierarchy of the NFL for a number of years. And I can't get excited about the game like I used to. A federal judge overseeing the $1 billion NFL concussion settlement terminated 3 or 4 lawyers serving as class counsel in May. The order came just weeks after a hearing to air complaints about new rules that limit doctors who could evaluate retired players for dementia. Get this. The paid-off judge, Anita Brody, said, Anita Gangbang, said she imposed a 150 miles from home rule to thwart doctor shopping and potential fraud alleged by the NFL. Now, here's what it amounts to in plain English, folks. A senior U.S. district judge imposed a radius limit of 150 miles from home. So if a doctor lived more than 150 miles away and reviewed a player's concussion issue, it was stricken from the record because he wasn't from within that 150-mile radius. But the bottom line is, from where most of these people are, there isn't an expert within 150 miles.
Correct.
All it does is it protects the goddamn NFL.
Sounds like there isn't any common sense within 150 miles either.
Outgoing,
no second opinions allowed. No second opinions allowed.
Yeah, God almighty. I mean, the outgoing class counsel, Gene Locks, told the Associated Press that order extinguishes any remaining hope that clients will be protected as they move through this contentious medical testing and awards process. He told Brody at the judge at a hearing this month that there aren't enough qualified neurologists, neuropsychologists, and subspecialists taking part in the program to meet the close to home rule. It's just unbelievable. So, LaRon McClain, you may be brain damaged, you may have the beginnings of CTE, but you're absolutely right, and you see this image more clearly than the greedy NFL. And fuck the NFL, fuck every single one of those people. Fuck the owners. Shame on them. And
So
a
18
billion. Say what?
So 18 games, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, that'll be next, you know. The plan, by the way, offers retired players baseline testing and compensation of up to $5 million for the most serious illnesses linked to concussions, including Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's disease, and deaths involving chronic traumatic encephalopathy or CTE. Of the 872 awards paid to date, the average payout is simply $575,000. That's not enough to get shit done. Not enough to get shit done. For all the money the NFL's making, it's no different than goddamn Nick Saban, is it? For all the money the University of Alabama is, all they can see is no further than the nose in front of their face. It's really pathetic.
That's less money than a 22nd spot on the Super Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is a good way.
That is all they're worth, these guys.
Yeah, it's really a sad reflection of what it's all come down to. So, and I put Nick Saban into the same thing. It's the heartless people who are just profiting off of the misfortune of others, and I just don't understand how you can just terminate your responsibility for medical assistance for people who have helped you accomplish so much. It just seems impossible to me, but. That's today's NFL. 7:00, and I'm finished. Last word. We'll start with Jake. What's your last word for the day, buddy?
I'm going to go back on the point I had about if you're going to throw 26 times in the first half, at least bring out most of your first-team receivers to make it worth Baker's time. If you're going to take that risk.
Yeah. I can't argue with you, Rick.
Well, one of my magazines, I have the entire NFL season schedule right here. So you need to find out who's playing who on what day. We can get that figured out. We know exactly where all our teams are standing or falling.
Okay, the mutinous rocks. What is your final word? I'm not here.
Fire away.
I didn't hear you. You were actually, no, I couldn't hear your audio in the beginning. Seriously.
Yeah. We thought you were lip syncing or something.
Yeah. No, do it again. Say your final words.
Bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, fire away.
I know. Bronx, your final word. God.
Well,
Edith Bunker when she sings that. Go ahead.
I'm going to bring up Andrew Luck very briefly, only from the fact that I think it's hilarious that there's reports of Colts fans demanding their season tickets refunded by the fact that Luck has retired. Now, I'm just wondering, don't they have faith in the new face of the franchise, Jacoby Brissett?
No, the coach came out and said we're in good hands with Jacoby Brissett, which means they're gonna file a claim with Allstate. I have that's just got to be a death blow. What a dress rehearsal week 3 was for the Indianapolis Colts. But again, we've already seen the best offensive lineman for the Titans go down and the quarterback go down. These are 2 teams we're playing in the first 4 weeks of the season, folks. So this bodes well for the Cleveland Browns. As for why Luck did this, I mean, there's only 2 explanations. He's telling the truth, and he's just, and that his heart isn't in it. Or, and we're going to find this out, whether he just needs to heal up more and he feels he's being pressured by the Indianapolis Colts to hurry back into a game that he's not fully healed over. I wonder how long does he have to wait before he comes back into the league to play for another team? Do we know that?
You have the conspiracy theory thing that he's going to heal up and come back. Wouldn't he fit in the New England Patriots once Brady retires? Can't you see that?
They own his rights.
With that rumor.
Colts own his rights for sure, right?
Have I just started a rumor? Have you? I don't know.
I like it. I like that
happening. I could see Belichick saying, "Oh, you retire for 2 years, and we'll bring you back when Brady." And
Belichick denied even knowing that Luck had retired.
Well, Luck won't come back till he can play without having painkillers nonstop. I mean, he said he was having painkiller addiction problems just to get on the field. So until that's cleared up, he probably won't come back.
Yeah, but I mean, does he have to come back with the Colts under a circumstance like this?
I think so. I think they do own his rights because if Calvin comes back, he still has to be a Lion.
If he is on painkillers to play, the organization knows that.
Well, they were giving he was getting cortisone before every game the last 2 years. So.
Well, is there equivalent of bird rights in the NFL?
Say again?
Is there the equivalent of bird rights in the NFL?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. All I know is that he's 29 years old, and you're thinking one way when you're broken down, your body's broken down. I know I can speak from personal experience. When I had a bike accident, my knee was wiped out. I mean, I was, once I got a knee replacement, I'm back out playing tennis. So, I mean, it really is kind of where you're at a given point in time. And where he's at right now is he does not want to play football. But that doesn't mean that if his body gets healed up and he's, there was a lot of talk for the last 2 years that he was not happy with the Colts because the Colts were pressuring and pushing him to get back out on the field and that he was taking his time. This is something that was clearly written over the course of the past 2 years. So you really wonder, and I just hope that Andrew Luck misses Indianapolis more than Trevor Bauer misses Cleveland.
I mean, the fans didn't give him a good exit, so.
Yeah.
They did let him keep his bonus, $24 million. So, and
I wonder if that has something to do with what if he comes back, if he has to come back to the Colts.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
maybe somebody can research that. I don't know.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Bye. You mutinous person, you. But mutinous is better than glutinous. For me, anyway. We'll be back again on Friday with another edition of Moohead Radio. Benny Hill. What was that character's name? Oh, come on. Isn't that terrible? I don't remember that character's name. Oh, well.
As soon as we all get off here, we're all going to Google it, aren't we?
Yeah, then we'll know.
Everyone's got CTE. We can't remember shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was blocking for too many halfbacks. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back Friday to talk more about, we'll be able to talk about the aftermath of Game 4, who makes the team and who doesn't. And then we'll be getting ready for the regular season. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back again Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.